So that's what was on my mind at that point. And then the next thing I know, everybody's talking about The Walk. I said, what walk?
The Jeffersons was one of television's most groundbreaking sitcoms, but behind its humor and success were personal stories, secrets, and struggles of its beloved cast. Sherman Hemsley, who played the loud and proud George Jefferson, was in reality a quiet, deeply private man who kept much of his life, including his sexuality, hidden from the public. Isabel Sanford, the wise and warm Louise Wheezy Jefferson, defied the odds by rising to fame at 58 and becoming the first black woman to win an Emmy for lead actress in a comedy. Marla Gibbs, known for her sharp-tongued maid Florence, was a hard-working actress who balanced a day job while acting, later becoming a businesswoman and singer. Roxy Roker, who portrayed Helen Willis, lived her role off-screen, being in an interracial marriage and raising future rock star Lenny Kravitz. Franklin Cover, her on-screen husband Tom, helped break barriers as part of TV's first regular interracial couple. The role of Lionel Jefferson was shared by Mike Evans, who left partly over creative disagreements, and Damon Evans, who later found success as a classical singer and lived openly as a gay man. Berinda Tolbert, who played Jenny, stepped away from acting to care for her parents, while Paul Benedict, the quirky British neighbor Harry Bentley, was actually American and lived with a rare medical condition. Together, their real-life stories reveal resilience, sacrifice, and the powerful, sometimes painful realities behind the laughter. Sherman Hemsley was born in Philadelphia on February 1st, 1938, and his journey from shy postal worker to beloved television icon is as fascinating as the character he played. After dropping out of high school, he joined the U.S. Air Force, 1955 to 1959, then returned to Philadelphia working at the post office by day while studying drama at night. In New York, he starred in the Broadway musical Pearly, which caught the eye of producer Norman Lear. Lear held the role of George Jefferson open for him for a year, an extraordinary gesture that speaks to the confidence he had in Hemsley's talent. On screen, George was loud, brash, and domineering. Off-screen, Sherman was shy, private, and deeply spiritual, a dichotomy that he described as wearing a heavy coat he sometimes struggled to lift. Few aspects of Sherman's personal life were public knowledge. He never married, had no children, and fiercely guarded his privacy. For decades, speculation swirled about his sexuality. Damon Evans, the actor who followed him in the role of Lionel Jefferson, later spoke openly about their shared social circles, recounting that Sherman had a long-term relationship with a Puerto Rican man who was sometimes seen at tapings and even performed with him in Las Vegas during hiatuses. "We cruise the same places. It wasn't something we talk about," Evans recalled, explaining the code of silence of the era for gay black men in Hollywood. Though Sherman never publicly acknowledged any romantic relationship or his sexuality, this insider testimony paints a picture of a man who quietly asserted his identity in a world that demanded silence. After the Jeffersons ended in 1985, Sherman went on to star in another sitcom, Men, from 1986 to 1991, then appeared in Designing Women, Martin, Sister, and lent his voice to the dinosaur-themed series Dinosaurs as B. P. Richfield. He reprised his George Jefferson character in episodes of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and starred alongside Isabel Sanford in Old Navy and Denny's commercials. Despite being nominated for an Emmy just once for Outstanding Lead Actor in a comedy series in 1984, he left an enduring mark on television comedy. He also earned an NAACP Image Award in 1982. Known for his humility, Sherman reportedly asked Damon Evans to accept an award on his behalf and never attended the ceremonies himself. In 1992, he released an R&B album titled Dance, showing yet another facet of his creative life. He passed away on July 24th, 2012 in El Paso at the age of 74. Having spent his final years quietly away from Hollywood's glare. Isabel Sanford, born Eloise Gwendolyn Sanford on August 29, 1917 in Harlem, led an extraordinary life before she even set foot on the set of The Jeffersons. She was the youngest of 7 children, and the only one to survive infancy, and grew up in a strict, religious household that discouraged show business aspirations. Nevertheless, Isabel performed at amateur nights at the Apollo Theater and studied acting with Harlem's American Negro Theater and the Star Players. She held a job as a key punch operator at IBM to support herself and her children after separating from William Sonny Richmond, a house painter, with whom she had 3 children during a turbulent marriage. In 1960, she moved to Los Angeles with her children, entered the national production of Here Today, and later starred in James Baldwin's The Amen Corner on Broadway. Her breakthrough into screen acting came with a role in the landmark film Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, 1967, where she played Tilly the housekeeper. Although a small role, it was enough to catch the attention of Norman Lear, who cast her as Louise Jefferson on All in the Family, and then spun her and Sherman off into their own series in 1975. Isabel's portrayal of Weezy Jefferson was beloved and groundbreaking. She earned 7 consecutive Emmy nominations, 1979 to 1985, and one Outstanding Lead Actress in a comedy series in 1981, becoming the first black woman ever to win that award. That record stood alone for 43 years, until Keena Brunson's win in 2023. She also earned multiple NAACP Image Awards and a Golden Globe nod. On The Jeffersons, she was a calm, rational foil to George's outbursts, wise, loving, and unflappable. Her comic timing was legendary. One such unscripted moment, her exasperated please, became an iconic laugh line. After the show ended, Isabel continued acting with guest spots on Living Single, Hanjin with Mr. Cooper, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and appearances on The Love Boat and The Steve Harvey Show. She returned briefly to the Jefferson world in commercials and earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame shortly before her death on July 9th, 2004 at age 86. Her influence persists. Fellow cast members refer to her as the queen of the show, and producers and family members say that before each taping, she commanded the cast respect and a salute. Marla Gibbs, who created Florence Johnston with just a handful of episodes in mind, became one of the series' breakout stars. Born in Chicago in 1931, she worked for United Airlines as a reservations agent even after landing on the Jeffersons. Eventually, her sharp wit and stage presence turned Florence into a full-time role, and Marla earned 5 Emmy nominations and multiple NAACP Image Awards for her work as Georgia Sassy, fearless maid whose home-based comedy masked genuine warmth. After the sitcom wrapped, she starred in the sitcom 227, 1985 to 1990, took occasional roles in series like Living Single, and remained active well into her 90s. In 2025, she released a memoir titled It's Never Too Late and appeared on Will Trent at age 93. Testament to a career built on persistence and reinvention. Roxy Roker, born in Miami and educated at Howard University, played Helen Willis opposite Franklin Covers Tom, a landmark portrayal as part of television's first regular interracial couple. Off-screen, Roxy was married to Ry Kravitz, a white Jewish TV producer. Their son is Lenny Kravitz. Norman Lear noted that Roxy brought him a family photograph proving such interracial love existed in real life, pushing the show forward with conviction and authenticity. After the Jeffersons, she continued acting in shows such as 227, Punky Brewster, and Murder, she wrote, until her death from breast cancer on December 2nd, 1995. Lenny Kravitz has said that watching her on screen gives him peace and connection to a mother taken too soon. Franklin Cover, who played Tom Willis, was a dignified presence who balanced Roxy's warmth. A seasoned theater actor before joining the Jeffersons, he continued in television on shows like Always, 227, ER, and Will and Grace, and appeared in the film Wall Street, 1987. He passed away at 77 in 2006 from pneumonia, but left behind a legacy of steady, barrier-breaking performance. As part of that interracial unit, the show placed front and center at a time when such relationships were rarely, if ever, normalized on screen. 2 actors portrayed Lionel Jefferson, Mike Evans and Damon Evans, no relation. Mike Evans, born 1949, got the role after Norman Lear discovered him essentially hitchhiking. He brought quiet strength and grounded intelligence to Lionel. Off-screen, Mike was ambitious. He co-created Good Times, a spin-off of Maude, but became frustrated when his screen presence was minimal, confronting Lear at a cast party and threatening to walk if his role didn't expand. He quit after the first season, but returned later. He then succeeded in writing and acting, later finding fortune in commercial real estate before passing away in 2006 from throat cancer. Damon Evans, who replaced Mike, had trained as a classical singer and founded his own opera company at 17 in Baltimore. His voice career eventually eclipses acting. He performed at Carnegie Hall and with orchestras in London and Berlin. During one performance, he was violently assaulted by another singer out of jealousy, a moment he later credited with spurring greater focus in his music career. An openly gay black man who had been present during the Stonewall riots, Damon lived his identity in an era when visibility demanded courage. After acting, he committed to opera full-time with significant acclaim before his death in 2021. Belinda, sometimes spelled Belinda, Tolbert played Jenny Willis Jefferson, Lionel's wife and an integral part of that family's interracial storyline. Belinda had early roles on shows like That's My Mama and Sanford & Son, and appeared in Martin Scorsese's Mean Streets. She continued acting after the Jeffersons, appearing in Goodfellas, Harlem Nights, Patriot Games, and TV series including ER and 6 Feet Under. Later in life, she largely retired to care for aging parents, choosing family over fame, a legacy of love and quiet dedication that few public tributes capture. Paul Benedict, known for his portrayal of British neighbor Harry Bentley, was actually born in New Mexico and grew up in the U.S. His English accent and mannerisms were a testament to his acting skills. Behind the scenes, Benedict lived with acromegaly, a rare condition that elongates bone and features. A doctor in the audience recognized the signs during a stage play and reached out, helping enable treatment. Benedict was widely known off-screen as soft-spoken and kind. After the Jeffersons, he performed in films Arthur II, Cocktail, The Addams Family, and Christopher Guest comedies, Waiting for Guffman, A Mighty Wind, before his death in 2008 from a brain hemorrhage. Zara Cully, a theater veteran and elocutionist, joined the Jeffersons in her 8th decade. Born in 1892, she had spent more than 50 years acting when Norman Lear brought her from All in the Family into the Jeffersons. She originated the role of Mother Jefferson and brought depth, humor, and dignity to the character. Tragically, she fell ill during season 4. She died of pneumonia and lung cancer at age 86 in 1978, and the show wrote her death into the storyline as a heartfelt farewell to both character and performer. Together, the cast of the Jeffersons embodied not only a fictional black family who moved on up, but also a tapestry of real struggle, triumph, and complex humanity. Sherman's fierce privacy, Isabel's late career leap to prominence and Emmy victory, Marla's work ethic and entrepreneurial spirit, Roxy and Franklin's off-screen interracial family, Mike and Damon Evans' dual paths in acting, writing, and singing, Belinda's act of familial devotion, Benedict's quiet perseverance with health challenges, and Zara's decades-long dedication. Each story underscores how these actors used their craft to transcend limitations in a creatively stifling era. Despite the fame and comedy, many of these performers saw their lives as grounded in faith, resilience, and intention. Isabel Sanford rose from discount theaters in Harlem to television royalty. Sherman, who sometimes appeared on set in painted tuxedo t-shirts and sneakers, once said awards didn't matter to him. His work did. Damon Evans walked away from primetime fame to pursue opera because it fulfilled him. Marla Gibbs built a nightclub, starred in stage shows, and still continued acting into her 90s. These stories challenge how we measure success, often in dollars or award trophies, and instead illuminate purpose, honesty, and personal fulfillment. The Jeffersons may have served up punchlines about class, race, and gender, but behind every laugh was an actor with a life story richer and deeper than any script. They were seekers, survivors, trailblazers, black artists navigating systems meant to marginalize them. They offered audiences a vision of dignity and progress, yet their real lives reveal how many walls they built and then quietly dismantled. In an era before streaming, diversity initiatives, and celebrity culture as we know it, these actors quietly shaped the television landscape. Their real breakthroughs came not just in living rooms, but through the realities of their own lives. Sherman standing firm in privacy and sexuality. Isabel, Mother Jefferson turned legend, proving it's never too late to follow your calling. Marla building from clerk to club owner to legend. Roxy living interracial love in the open. Franklin carrying himself with understated grace. Mike and Damon shifting from screen to stage to pen to song. Belinda choosing caregiving over career. Paul, turning illness into empathy, and czar shaping generations of actors before her final bow. More than 30 years after the final episode aired in July 1985, their legacies endure as actors, history makers, and humanity made visible. Examples of what it means to move on up both publicly and privately against the odds. Even decades after the Jeffersons ended, the cultural significance and personal legacies of its cast remain powerfully relevant. The show wasn't just groundbreaking for a portrayal of a successful black family. It also tackled issues of racism, classism, gender roles, and identity with humor and heart. Off-screen, the actors lived lives that mirrored many of these struggles. Their personal stories add layers of meaning to the show's themes. Whether it was Sherman Hemsley quietly navigating Hollywood as a private and possibly closeted man, Isabel Sanford rising from single motherhood and stage work to Emmy-winning stardom, or Marla Gibbs holding 2 jobs to support her family while building career in show business, each cast member's journey reflected perseverance and grace. Even supporting actors like Zara Cully and Paul Benedict brought decades of experience and resilience to their roles, often acting through illness or against typecasting. Their lives show that fame was only part of their legacy. Their courage, convictions, and community contributions mattered more. Today, as audiences revisit classic television or discover anew through streaming, the Jeffersons remains a vital piece of American cultural history. The actors' lives remind us that behind every character is a person who struggled, triumphed, and paved the way for others.